evening, it's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesa Wikanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Esiedudate. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
EcoBank. Nero Prime Water.
Tonight, the new Patriotic Party's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says party will not be intimidated by the recent arrests of some of its members.
And also coming up tonight, Accra High Court admits into evidence documents indicating email correspondence regarding payments for the cyber security defense system for the national security.
And later in the bulletin, the National House of Chiefs warns inadequate funding and weak institutional support for judicial committees handling in chieftaincy cases are threatening national security.
Later in business news, Chamber of Mines warns against calls to block lease renewal of Goldfields Tarkwa.
On the international front, Nigeria's human rights body calls on the military to launch a thorough and prompt investigation into what it called recurrent civilian casualties from military airstrikes. We are live on 3news.com. We are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, and we always love to hear from you.
The news now in detail, and recent arrest and detention of persons linked to the NPP have the opposition party alarmed over the state of free speech in the country. The NPP's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is concerned the government is stifling dissent and undermining democratic principles, but commentators and analysts have expressed different views on the matter. Christian Yali examines the concerns in this report.
Pen it however you want. Once members of a party in opposition are arrested, it would spark agitations and perceptions of intimidation, especially when the reasons cited are not seen to warrant arrests and detentions. Ghana's democracy has come a long way and is envied, but the recent arrest of 2 NPP members have fueled what is observed as a threat against dissent. Are the concerns a reality? Suleiman Abrahima is the Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa.
I don't think that we are in a situation where we can say that in our country today, democracy and free speech are under any form of attack or a siege. What I would admit, though, is that, as I said earlier, there have been times where our security agencies have been quite overzealous. I don't know whether sometimes it's about acting to please anyone.
Inasmuch as political commentators and citizens have the right to speech, the same has limitations. But NPP flag bearer Dr. Bawumia says the NDC's conduct since assuming office points to one direction, what he describes as unholy collaborations to silence NPP members. Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima, says sometimes the conduct of security agencies leaves room for genuine concerns.
Yes, the concerns about the abuse of the freedoms sometimes, I think, are legitimate. And so are the concerns about sometimes how our security agencies also attend to these challenges. Some people act as though the Constitution guarantees press freedom or free speech as well as reckless speech. But I don't think that is the case. Other than that, I think sometimes we really go overboard. And in that regard, the concerns are legitimate.
The NDC has responded and said individuals are not being targeted for speaking their minds, but rather for comment that threaten stability and breach laws. Some have blamed the excessive politicization of issues, but what could be the way forward in all this?
We've gotten to a point where I think people must begin to attach importance to what our leaders do and say. And especially those of us also in the media have a responsibility, first of all, to be ethical and to be decorous in what we say, and to condemn persons who just would sit somewhere and lie about others, then I think that our security agencies too must assert their independence.
And still in the party, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says the party will not be intimidated by the recent arrest of some of its members. Speaking at a meeting with student leaders at the University of Ghana on Wednesday, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said that the NPP would respond through political engagement rather than fear.
We will take the debate, the ideas to the country, and we will make our case. We are, however, saying that we will not be intimidated. You can arrest all of us. We will come back and make it our case to the people of Ghana. And so I want all of you to come together as we are doing to make sure that in 2028, MPP comes back. 2028, inshallah, it is going to happen in 2028. It is possible. It is possible. It is possible. And we are going to work towards it. We are not going to sit down and say it will happen, but we are going to work. And that is why we are beginning the work early. And the training is to make sure that when we are in government, you will be able to occupy key leadership positions in this country. And that is where we are going to. The youth will take over the key positions as we move forward in this country.
In more news tonight, the National House of Chiefs has warned that inadequate funding and weak institutional support for judicial committees handling chieftaincy cases are threatening national security. At an engagement with members of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Chieftaincy, Culture and Religious Affairs, the traditional leaders called for urgent reforms and stronger government commitment to the chieftaincy institution.
Several conflicts in Ghana have been linked to chieftaincy and land disputes. The National House of Chiefs, however, says the judicial committees responsible for resolving such disputes lack the resources needed to function effectively.
I'm sure as members of parliament, you are fully aware that about 70% of the conflict cases in Ghana relate to chieftaincy and some to land. And we have judicial committees at the National House and at the regional houses. And these judicial committees are supposed to resolve some of the chieftaincy conflicts. But the judicial committees hardly get money to be able to operate efficiently. Their work is crucial for national security, and I think that you should be giving these commensurate resources to enable them to discharge their responsibilities effectively.
The president of the National House of Chiefs, Oji Ahoya Ojebi II, also highlighted the severe staffing shortages affecting traditional councils across the country.
I know in the central region, some of the traditional councils have only one registrar. We may not have to wait until we get the independence. Something fast must be done about it. Otherwise, we cannot adjudicate cases in our various houses of chiefs. And that one will create more problems for all of us.
Chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Chieftaincy, Fred Che Asamoah, acknowledged the concerns and assured the Chiefs of Parliament commitment to addressing the challenges.
We will have further engagement to fine-tune some of the concerns, to look at the Chieftaincy Act of 2008, where there has to be a possible amendment, legislation, instrument that will go with the Parent Act for proper implementation.
The engagement forms part of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Chieftaincy, Culture and Religious Affairs oversight responsibility to gather stakeholder input on reforms within chieftaincy institution. The traditional leaders are hopeful the discussions will lead to concrete action to reduce disputes and strengthen peace and stability across the country.
Now, to one of the big stories that has dominated conversations over the last 48 hours and counting. A major legal debate is emerging following the reported detention of Ghanaian Member of Parliament, the Honorable Ohene Kwame Frimpong, at Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport. And can a sitting Member of Parliament claim immunity outside the shores of Ghana? And does parliamentary status offer protection when international law enforcement agencies become involved? Elizabeth Enyonam Halega reports on the limits of parliamentary immunity and how international arrests requests work across borders.
Members of Parliament enjoy constitutional protections, but legal experts say these protections do not automatically extend beyond Ghana's borders. The reported detention of the Member of Parliament for Asante Achim North, Ohene Kwame Frimpong in the Netherlands, has now raised one key question. Does a sitting Member of Parliament enjoy immunity under international law? For many legal analysts, the answer is generally no.
Although he holds a diplomatic passport, because that diplomatic passport, technically it doesn't give him full immunity, basically, because with the Vienna Convention, full immunity is normally afforded to people who are, for instance, stationed at a consulate, for instance, and they have a fixed job there. They've, a declaration has been made that they're going to be assigned to that place. On top of that, I think he was also going for a private visit to the UK via the Netherlands. But ultimately, he wouldn't have been afforded full immunity via the Vienna Convention because he wasn't exactly stationed at a consulate.
Diplomatic immunity applies mainly to accredited diplomats under international treaties like the Vienna Convention, but MPs are not automatically classified as diplomats. And unless an MP is on an officially recognized state mission, the foreign authorities may still act on valid criminal warrant or international arrest request.
Everybody would think like, oh, well, because I'm carrying a diplomatic passport, nothing can happen to me. So, with the Vienna Convention, it makes it very clear that certain categories enjoy full immunity, including consulate staff, etc. But him being an MP who happened to be traveling on for a private visit does not get that full immunity automatically.
Back in Ghana, the case is raising questions about whether local authorities received any prior notification. Interpol Ghana operates within the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service. But legal experts say cases involving high-profile political figures may require coordination with institutions such as the Attorney General's Department before any domestic action is taken.
From a legal perspective, I do think Ghana could have handled the optics better in terms of we should have controlled the narrative in terms of if our security agencies were aware, as the MP is hinting towards, and if that is the case, then international optics and local optics is very important. We could have controlled how this played out in terms of Ghana be the one to extradite him if they believed that there was indeed a case. So, he is a Ghanaian and he is a member of parliament. And until proven guilty, I think we should take him as an innocent person who has not come forth to say his side of the story. And I think we should wait for that. And I support government in ensuring that the consulate does send him lawyers and those lawyers review what information there is to go by.
Political office may provide protection at home, but parliamentary status alone does not automatically shield an individual from foreign criminal processes abroad. Enyonam Haliga, TVC News, Accra.
And still on legal matters or so, the Accra High Court has admitted into evidence documents indicating email correspondence regarding payments for the cybersecurity defense system for the national security. Lawyers of the former National Signals Bureau Director, Kwabena Edubuahin, sought to establish that contrary to the allegations of theft, their client issued a request from the BNC Communications bank account for payments to be made. Lord Eduasare reports.
Cross-examination of the third prosecution witness, Mildred Donko, lead counsel for Kwabena Duboahin, asked the witness about the instructions pertaining the transfer request for payment of the cybersecurity defense software. Mildred told the court that Israeli company ISC International Holdings was the beneficiary of the transfer request for payment, adding that over $1.7 million was transferred from the BNC Communications Bureau account. However, when asked whether she knew about the CD equivalent of the money, which translated to over 9.5 million Ghana cedis, the prosecution witness noted that she was unaware of the conversion rates. Further breaking down transactions made at the UNB Bank in relation to the case, Mildred told the court that a sum of 7.250 million cedis was also moved from the BNC Communications account into the personal account of the former National Signals Bureau director. Again, she explained that another 7.2 million cedis was made into the accounts of the coordinator of the national security. Lead counsel for the accused persons, Samuel Atachia, spoke after the proceedings on Thursday.
All that we are asking for, that we be able to put our cases across via their own elected witnesses. Emails were used to initiate payments on the B.N.C Communications Bureau Limited account. And if that is so, the witness admitting that those transfers will show in the account, and for some reason we don't understand, the very document which will give the root evidence that the monies exited the account has been rejected by the court. So I'm sure your mind is working. It's contradictory in terms from our perspective.
The case has been adjourned to May 20 for continuation of the cross-examination of the prosecution's third witness. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And away from the courts, the University of Professional Studies Accra is driving innovation beyond the classroom, with students developing mobile applications to solve real business challenges. Vice-Chancellor Professor John Kweku Mensah Mauto disclosed this during a visit to Media General, where he also announced the commissioning of a student-led laptop assembly plant expected to produce up to 1,000 laptops daily.
Chancellor of UPSA, Professor John Kweku Mensah Mauto, together with executives of the institution, paid a courtesy call on the leadership of Media General. The visit was aimed at strengthening the partnership between UPSA and Media General, as well as inviting the media organization to participate in the university's Diamond Jubilee celebrations. Key among the activities is the Ghana Business Leaders Conclave, to be convened by the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II. During the engagement, Professor Mauto extolled the creativity and innovation of UPSA students, particularly their efforts at developing technological solutions to address real business challenges.
In the coming days, we are going to flood this country with a lot of mobile apps. And what our students have done, the undergraduate students have done in recent time, is to pick the research of other disciplines, translate them into digital apps, which will be ready. So very soon, if you want to know how much tax you are supposed to pay on your app, just download it.
He also announced the commissioning of a computer assembly plant by UPSA students with the capacity to produce 1,000 laptops a week.
Now, every student who comes to UPSA must have a skill of know how to assemble computers, assemble laptops, assemble phones. And fortunately, I'm very happy to tell you that by next month we'll be launching our plant. The first laptop that will be assembled, we will donate some to Media General.
Media General team, led by Group Chief Operating Officer Norma Eshan Famiye and General Manager of Onua TV, Steven Shandorf, expressed appreciation for the long-standing partnership with UPSA and commended the students for using innovation to impact lives positively.
Still watching News 360 on TV3, we are shifting our attention to some other stories tonight. And the national chairman of the governing National Democratic Congress, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has given a firm assurance that the Savannah region is one of the government's priority areas areas for development. Addressing the chiefs and people of the Salaga South constituency, Asiedun Ketia appealed to traditional leaders and party supporters in the region to have faith in the government to deliver on its promises.
The NDC's national chairman was in Salaga as part of his nationwide thank you tour aimed at appreciating chiefs, party supporters and communities for their support during the 2024 general elections. Speaking at the Bambange Ndefoso Palace in Kwembe, Johnson Asiedun Ketia emphasized that the Savannah region would receive its fair share of national development. We must bear with the government as it prepares to deliver its promises. Let all be assured that we will benefit from the national development. On party support, the NDC's national chairman appealed to party supporters who feel left out of appointment to exercise patience, assuring them that more opportunities will be made available. NDC and President Mahama are our very own. Let's protect the party for it to please others to join us so that together we can build this country. The paramount chief of the Kwembe traditional area, Kwembe Rura Bambange Ndefoso IV, appealed to the NDC chairman to ensure the completion of the 60-bed capacity Salaga hospital, which has been abandoned for over 4 years.
In Salaga here, our present issue is our hospital, which we cry to everybody. I think the MP will tell you more. The DCs, everybody will mention it to them. So if you are here, no, you are seeking for blessing, but we should tell you our problem. It's our hospital.
Johnson Asiedun Ketia is on a 2-day thank you tour of the Savannah region and is expected to wrap up the tour on Friday, May 15.
Now, behind every idea, every transaction, every click is a simple human desire for convenience and efficiency. In a world where technology never stands still, MTN Ghana is on a mission to reshape the country's digital footprint, one innovation at a time.
Not long ago, running a business meant paper records and long queues. Today, major businesses can operate efficiently from anywhere in the world with just a click of a button.
Welcome to the MTN
Digital transformation has come to stay, reshaping not just how humans interact, but creating new opportunities for SMEs and everyday Ghanaians alike. MTN Ghana is now moving boldly into the digital space, believing that investing in technology not only eases livelihoods, but plays a major role in driving Ghana's economy forward.
Everybody is talking about the importance of digital transformation, AI. We need to make it practical and bring it down into the actual industries and professional bodies to drive digital transformation.
At the just ended Digital Transformation Conference held in Accra, the Chief Digital Officer expressed hope that the event would provide attendees with actionable insights into emerging technologies and innovation.
We give them more information about their tools, also provide them with awareness and knowledge about how this can help them with a return of investment to their businesses as well. So it's an immediate impact is opening up these tools with them, sharing infrastructure, and then also providing to them access to our wide range of millions of customers that we serve.
For many, the maiden conference was a blend of intellectual conversations and mind-stimulating activities.
When I'm looking at expanding my business and all that, they have several loan options that help, and also the whole merchant sim thing, it allows me as a business owner to kind of customize my space. When people are sending me money, they get to know it legitimizes my business.
With a bold commitment to innovation and digital transformation, MTN Ghana continues to invest in the infrastructure, technology and partnerships shaping Ghana's digital economy.
Still watching News 360, stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment.
Accra Airport Hotel.
Good evening. Welcome to the business segment on News 360. I'm Menu Afol. In our first story, the Chamber of Mines is warning that the country risks becoming an unattractive investment destination after policy think tank Institute of Economic Affairs called on government to block the renewal of one of Africa's largest gold mining licenses. The IEA this week urged authorities to reject South African giant Goldfields' application to extend its lease on the Takwa mine.
The IEA had argued that Ghana's mineral wealth should deliver more direct benefits to citizens rather than foreign companies. But the chamber says the proposals are based on factual inaccuracies and a selective reading of history. Speaking at a press conference, Chief Executive Officer of the chamber, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, cautioned against policies that could reverse gains made in the sector.
The minister is sitting in the UN talking to investors. The questions they will be asking is that this thing that you're doing, then if I bring my 1 billion into your market, how would the certainty be? So it definitely would impact on investor confidence.
The Chamber of Mines says Ghana's experience with state-controlled mining in the early 1980s led to declining outputs, underinvestment, and economic challenges, while private sector participation later helped grow gold production significantly. It argues that the Minerals and Mining Act clearly requires governments to renew leases where companies have met their obligations, warning that failure to do so could undermine investor confidence and damage Ghana's international reputation. The chamber has, however, welcomed the establishment of a ministerial committee to review the revocation of Adamus Resources mining leases, stressing the need for due process to be followed.
The chamber is equally mindful of the importance of due process in regulatory and enforcement action. And we have noted the position of Adamus Resources Limited and its legal representatives. They contend that the revocation did not follow the statutory notice requirement under Section 68(2) of Act 703 and Regulation 203 of LI 2176. These procedural protections underpin the rule of law and investor confidence in Ghana's mining sector, and they must not be disregarded.
Away from that, Ghana's economic recovery is gathering significant momentum. Fresh data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that the economy expanded by 7.7% in February 2026. This surge was driven by strong performance in the industry and services sectors.
United Nations population. Global population rate increased by 80 million every year, with Africa remaining the most populous continent. The 2021 population and housing census projected Ghana's population at 30.8 million, with more than half of the figure being dependent. The projection, according to the National Population Council, must be a source of worry for all, since the increase in the population size does not complement the level of national growth. Increased child marriage and teenage pregnancy, reluctance in resorting to family planning methods, and poverty have been underscored as the immediate drivers of the country's bloating population size.
How are we getting all parents to be more responsible? So that together we are a responsible community. So we will sound the alarm. It's like Ghana Water will tell us that our water is getting dirty, so look at Galamsey.
And now, for 3 decades, MTN Ghana has played a significant role in transforming communication, digital connectivity, and financial transactions in Ghana. As part of activities marking its 30th anniversary celebration, MTN Ghana has reaffirmed its commitment to innovation, digital inclusion, and the future expansion of connectivity services across the country.
30 years. MTN Ghana has expanded its network across the country, helping bridge the distance between families, business, and communities through digital communication services. In 2009, the company introduced mobile money, commonly known as Momo, revolutionizing financial transactions in Ghana. Today, millions of Ghanaians rely on the platform for sending and receiving money, paying bills, purchasing goods, and conducting business transactions with ease.
We went from voice to SMS to data to mobile money, and people's lives have changed fundamentally. So we've been a part of every Ghanaian's life.
As part of activities marking its 30th anniversary celebration, MTN Ghana has some surprises for loyal customers with rewards and appreciation packages.
We'll be giving away prizes. You can win spin and win prizes. There will be data prizes, phones, Prados you can win. It's all to celebrate our customers. And that's to give back and to say thank you for being part of MTN.
Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nate George, encouraged MTN to continue improving service quality and network reliability.
Ghanaian consumers continue to raise legitimate concerns about the cost of data, the consistency of network coverage outside major cities, dropped calls, and the resolution of customer complaints. The government's expectation is that the next phase of MTN's investment, $1.1 billion, will deliver measurable improvement that consumers can feel in their wallets and on their devices.
MTN Ghana says it aims to build a future where every Ghanaian, regardless of location or background, can benefit from technology, financial inclusion, and opportunities made possible through digital connectivity.
Let's now check out how the cedi is faring against other trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are faring on the global market.
The sports news segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Quad.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. Ghana's 4x100 men's relay team have booked a place in the final after winning their heat at the ongoing Senior Athletics Championships. They can potentially increase Ghana's tally of 3 medals on Friday when they compete in the final. My colleague Billy Shan was at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium on day 3 and filed this report.
Brought hope. Day 2 was disappointing, and day 3 has brought hope once again. Ghana have finally won some medals at the 2026 edition of the Senior African Athletics Championships. Now, the first person to win a medal for Ghana was Florence Agyemang, who finished third in the 400 meters for the women with 51.87 seconds. And then the floodgates opened because Alex Amankwa also won a bronze for Ghana in the 800 meters with 46.18 seconds. And then also in the high jump, we had a silver medalist, Esther Obenewa, winning silver with 1.81 meters, clearing the bar at that level to claim the silver medal. And then going into the relays, in the 4x100 meter relay, we know that the female team has already advanced to the final, and the male team also advanced to the final by storming to first place in the second heat with 38.69 seconds. The quartet of Edwin Gadayi, Joseph Paul Amwa, Ibrahim Fuseini, and Abdul Rashid Saminu led Ghana to that final place, and they are expected to compete with the likes of Nigeria for the gold medal in there as well. So a lot to look forward to in the next day of the Senior African Athletics competition here at the University of Ghana Stadium.
And so that was my colleague Billy Shanda. Now to some more stories where superstar Mohamed Husseini scored the winner as Royal Union Saint-Genoa lifted the Belgian Crocky Cup following a 3-1 victory over Anderlecht. That's their derby rivals. The Brussels derby final was played at the Lotto Park, which saw Union Saint-Gilloise triumph in extra time, with the Ghanaian forward scoring the eventual match winner. Having won the second and third editions of the Belgian Cup in 1913 and 1914, Union ended a 110-year drought in 2084 by defeating Antwerp in the final. 2 years later, Union repeated the feat against their neighbours Anderlecht, lifting their 4th Belgian Cup. And so before we go, just by way of updates from the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations, Ghana are currently beating Algeria by 2-0 in their opening game of the competition. You can get updates of that on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the glamour, the fashion statements, and unforgettable moments from the 2026 edition of the Telecel Ghana Music Awards red carpet may be over, but conversations around the event continue to trend across social media and entertainment circles. Amid the excitement was a first-time host, Godwin Nambo, who described the opportunity as a dream come true after years of admiring some of the industry's finest red carpet presenters.
As a little boy watching the VGMAs, young teenage boy in the slums of Shukura and Aben, was always something I looked forward to, that someday we'll be on this red carpet hosting the likes of Chris Atto, Kwame Sefa-Kind, inspired me. And so to be here and to do what they used to do is a blessing for me.
Godwin revealed that celebrated media personalities Chris Atto and Kwame Sefa-Kind played a huge role in inspiring his journey. He also opened up about the intense preparations leading up to the show, noting that days of planning, rehearsal and teamwork went into ensuring a successful red carpet experience for viewers.
Regina and I were very deliberate. I said, Regina, we cannot do the same old, same old. We see this every year. We want to know the people better. Yes, it's music, it's fashion and all that, but let's get into their heads more. And yeah, so a lot of thought went into it. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit tense from the beginning. I mean, we do this, but for starters, I was really tensed. But as Regina and I discussed, we just wanted to be ourselves. We just wanted to have fun. We wanted to make sure that everybody who comes on the red carpet feels easy, feels seen, recognized, and celebrated. So I'll say that I had an amazing time.
Music for good.
I guess we'll never know.
I guess we will never know. But let's talk.
That's it for the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. On the international front, Nigeria's human rights body on Thursday called on the military to launch a thorough and prompt investigation into what it called recurrent civilian casualties from military airstrikes. The National Human Rights Commission, a state body tasked with investigating alleged rights violations, said repeated reports of deaths and injuries raised serious concerns about compliance with humanitarian and human rights law. Amnesty International, citing witnesses, said on Tuesday that at least 100 civilians had been killed in a Nigerian military airstrike on a crowded market in remote northwest Zamfara state last weekend, the third reported incident since April.
Thank you so much for watching News 360. I am Martin Esiedudati.
I am Portia Gabodu. Join Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.